together. In the course of his remarks, he has told us that the We Together organization has been launched in three geopolitical zones, and they are here in Akwa Ibom to spread the message of togetherness, competence, and a viable Nigeria for everyone. According to him, the imbalances and broken foundation that has been witnessed over the years in past regimes and governance must be corrected. He urges everyone to sacrifice the old system and build a new system that makes the old one obsolete. This is the time to put the unity of the country at the forefront against ethnic marginalization, violence, and other forms of corrupt practices.
Please move towards the left to sign the partnership document. I would ask Architect Khalifa Rabiu to please be on standby for the keynote address. I'd like to invite the chairman of the BOT as well as the national coordinator to please stand by their side while the signing is going on.
Signing of the treaty by the national coordinator and other executive members of the organization, which aims at highlighting the vision of the group, which includes to build a united Nigeria where every Nigerian is assured of good quality life, irrespective of tribe, religion, and political class.
For the keynote address, permit me to invite Architect Khalifa Rabiu. Architect Khalifa Rabiu. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Before I begin, I would like to pay tribute to the crown jewel of the South-South, the good people of Akwa Ibom. Yesterday, I had pounded yam that looked like blanket and your amazing afang soup. And I am telling you guys now that I am up for adoption. I stand on existing protocols. Mr. Chairman BOT, may your resolve for a great Nigeria never waver. My leader, the Honorable Peacock, may you never share the same fate with the chicken. That is the pot or the cage. My Aedero, sir, the Honorable Shina Pella, you didn't act fast enough, sir. The people of Akwa Ibom are going to sign those adoption papers. What is good leadership? Good leadership is sustainable. Good leadership is allowing others the opportunity to grow. Mr. Chairman, you have proven that you are a good leader in your own respective right. Because I, myself, as one of the youngest members of the We Together movement, has been given the opportunity and the honor to deliver a very important item, such as the keynote address for this particular program. I have learned that leadership isn't by the position you hold, but by the number of lives that you inspire. And every single one of you here today has proven that he is a leader in his respective right. You do not have to be a commissioner, a governor, an SA. You don't have to hold political office to be a leader. You just have to have the willpower, the mindset to make a change. And you all have made that first step by coming here together for this We Together movement. Mr. Chairman, your movement has inspired millions of young Nigerians. And in the words of Barack Obama, he said, every generation has the opportunity to remake the world. We live in one of the greatest eras, the technological revolution. The ability to make and unmake, the ability to shape and reshape lies in our hands. If we grasp that today, then we can secure the future of our great nation, Nigeria. He also said, the change will not come if you wait for someone else. So we have to be the ones to deliver that change. Now you see, while growing up, we were taught that the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. But then we soon realized that tomorrow never comes. So what do you do? We are a country that has a predominantly youthful population of over 70% youth. But yet, who are the people that suffer the most in this country? Who are the people who don't have access to quality education? Who are the people who fight and die during these elections? Who are the people who steal ballot boxes for them? Who are the people who take bullets for them? I have never seen a general on the day of an election standing by the polling booth. Even the policeman that you fight is a young man like you. Even the policeman that you fight is a youth like you. Yet who are the people that occupy the political offices? And we are the ones who are always left out of the political landscape. Is it by choice? Is it by desire? You see, yesterday I was told a very funny story. They told me, in some parts, you can speak for hours and you can make sense. But at the end of the day, they will tell you that you have spoken, but you haven't landed yet. But let me tell you something about landing like that. You see, politicians that land like that, when they land, your future does not take off. Because they are worse than the Yahoo boys. Because not only have you sold your own futures, but the futures of your children and your children's children as well. So for us to avoid such, we must learn to put the love of country above all else. We must seek peace and unity actively. Because in any country where there has been tremendous growth, the youth have been the center of it all. You see, every 4 years, thank you. Every 4 years, they come around and they tell us that they will make Nigeria great again. But let's be sincere. If you are a youth, have you ever seen a great Nigeria? You see, that narrative has to change. We can only dream about a great Nigeria. But even the ability to dream, they want to take that away from us. Because guess what? You have to sleep. You have to have good sleep in order for you to dream. But how can you sleep when you're fighting bandits in the north, when you're fighting kidnappers in the south, and you're fighting with armed robbers in the west? How can you sleep when you sleep with one eye open? How can you dream? How can you dream of a great country? Now let me tell you a secret that they don't want you to hear. Youth leadership is desirable. Youth leadership is achievable. But most importantly, youth leadership is inevitable because it will come to pass. And with the help of we together, we can make that happen faster. A wise man once said, if you think you are too small to make a change in the world, then you have never been in bed with a mosquito before. Let me ask you a question. Are you tired of the bad leadership? Are you tired of godfatherism? Are you tired of being ruled by the same set of people since 1960? Then let me tell you something. You and I, us and them, we can make a difference if we stand together. Because united we stand and divided we fall. We are the captains of our ships and the masters of our destiny. So we will not be dictated to the shape that our future will take. In the words of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kaduna State, he said, and I quote, "Nobody will hand over the mantle of power to you just because you are young. You must fight for it and you must negotiate for it." So mark my words, there will soon be a revolution. But this revolution will not be a bloody revolution. We will not set buildings ablaze, but we will set hearts on fire. This will not be a revolution of blood and bullets, but this will be a revolution like no other, a revolution of mind and character. You must become the change that you want to see in Nigeria. Victory achieved through violence is tantamount to defeat. We will be as transparent as glass, but as strong as steel in our resolve for a better Nigeria. So like our forefathers, the Tafawa Balewas, the Nnamdi Azikiwes, and the Awolowos, like they drove out colonialism without force, we will also drive the old breed out without force. But let us understand that the whenever he won a battle, he would say, "Veni, vidi, vici." I came, I saw, I conquered. But I will take it one step further, and I will tell you this. Venimus, vidimus, vincimus. We came, we saw, and we will conquer. Thank you.
Leadership is not by position held, but by the willpower to make the change. Accordingly, he says that change cannot come if the youth wait, but urges the Nigerian youth to take advantage of their numbers and change the country for the better. He advises the youth to love the country above every other thing, maintain peace, shun violence and other forms of social vices.
I also like to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Joseph Omoseje, the Edo State Coordinator of We Together Nigeria. Very simply apology for the delay in that recommendation. Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, for the panel session, permit me as I invite our moderator. Let's welcome Sadiu Yagasari. We can do better. As panelists, I'd like to invite Prince Edward Goswell to join him on the side of the divine. I'd like to invite Honorable Sandra Bassi, Hanatu Musawa, and Bashir Hamisu.
Members here, and permit me possible to begin with one of the PhD members of the We Together movement, in the person of Raj Bashir Hamisu. And as a member, one of the founding members of the We Together movement, I would like to start with you because this is like what I was spoken in the past mentioned. This is the fourth event that we're doing, the regional one daily, and as you can see, everywhere we go, the enthusiasm of the youth, the attention towards the We Together movement, not just in these regions, but across the country, including in the diaspora as well, is increasing. That means that the We Together movement is indeed something fresh and new. So what I would want you to talk about is why is the We Together different and unique and enticing to a lot of Nigerians, and why are they doing in youth? What are you offering that is new and different that is making them want to be part of this movement? What is driving the excitement of the movement?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. We together actually a few of us came forward and decided to stop lamenting houses, sit and discuss on the way to rescue this country from sharp decline to weakness. And what we tried to do was we identified the fact that it's important to go to the grassroots, to go to the boards, so we give each and every member of the movement the leadership of the movement from the world. So this gives you ownership, sense of ownership of the movement. It gives you the requirement that you know that you will do it yourself, and the result determines the effort you put through, which is what we are trying to do to organize as many people as possible, and then so we can be sure that the movement spreads across the country, gaining a large followership we're witnessing. Earlier on, I had a baby crying just behind me, and I was like, we also have babies presenting from the awards, which you thank the parents that have brought the baby here. So what we are trying to do is actually to give each and every member of this movement the ownership of the movement. It's not Abdulkarim, it's not Honorable Shinapella's movement, it's not Imran, it's not everybody in this movement. The movement is for all of us, it's for everybody. And we instill in prudence, competence, and visibility of all the activities that we do. We're going to handle. The movement started like a bit small, but now we've been to Kano, we've been to Lagos, Southwest, we were last week, today we're in Kwaipo. You could hear stories of people, how they got here, people missed their flights in Abuja. They had to ride to Calabar, drive 4 hours. This gives you the idea that, or gives you the picture that this movement is actually committed, from committed people who have the interest of the country at heart, and are willing to see that the change we actually desire comes to fruition. So it's a movement that has no specific ownership of a group or one person or region. When we tribalize, religion is not an issue for us. We are multi-participant people from PDP, ABC, commissioner, from the state, and everywhere we go, you can see participation from the version, all classes of people, from every walks of life, and all kind of initiatives and youth movement and groups. So this is what gives people the confidence for the fact that this week together is not for one person, it's our movement, it's everyone's movement, and then that drives the commitment and share the movement.
Thank you very much, and I think he has laid the foundation of why we together is different and how it's going to start. And permit me, Honorable Edward, to come to you next. We have seen a lot of other youth groups, youth movements in the past, with the same zeal, with the same passion, and the same drive. But where I want you to come in is, based on your experience, because I can see your CV is quite rich, how do we make sure the area I'm interested in you to speak about is the sustainability of the movement. I know that the movement is being, it's going to take about, at least in the first phase, about 10 years. By the time we go further, perhaps a lot of us that are driving it will not be the ones driving it at that time. So how do we ensure that this enthusiasm lives on, for the 10 years and even more than the 10 years before? How do we ensure that we don't allow it to die a natural death?
Thank you. I want to appreciate all of you. First, I must say that I'm committed to be a strong part of this movement because of this time. To realize that the energy of young people have come into self-realization that the hour is now or never. And then the caliber of people, when you begin to see everybody getting involved in a particular process, the intentions that we put in place, youth development for me and young people for me don't understand that we have the numbers. Politics and even business, the game of numbers. For me, we together is not just about political leadership, but spiritual, economic, social capital, and every kind of leadership we need in society. I spoke to somebody on recent, and I'm like, Dangote would not have been the richest black man or the richest man in Africa if policies of government was not in favor of his business. Now, we have young people who are capitalists and entrepreneurs in their own right, but you don't have people who are policymakers. You don't have spiritual leaders. You find among spiritual leaders, they are among themselves. This generation that we're trying to stay calm, we want to get involved. I don't like telling people that we should beg. The kind of people I see are people who believe that, power is not given, power is taken, and they are willing to take power. And there are people who have various experiences who have said, come. I don't care how your face looks like, but we have the same interest. We're not sentimental, but we have interest. I tell people that interest is more stronger than sentiment. Emotions, feelings, it's not as strong as telling yourself, I am in love with my family and my children. It's sentiment. But interest, I have to protect and defend the interest of my family. That is interest. That is coming up with a court. Telling yourself that you can be in love with your family and they die. But if you protect the interest of your family, it means that you want to give them life. So these are a generation that have come together to say we must protect the interest of this generation. Power is not given, power is taken. You don't see power, you feel power. You have felt the pains of society. We do not feel the pulse of leadership. We want to feel the pulse of leadership, so we're intentional. A beggar has no choice. I'm not a beggar. I don't see these faces here to be faces of beggars. So we have a choice, and the choice is that we must get things right. We must come together, not minding who we are, and we must come together to make a difference. I'm running for governor of Cross River State under APC. I consult for people running for governor under PDP. Why? I believe that it's not about political parties now. Yes, I have my own ideology. What political parties are very close to lead you to your aspiration. You might love a G-Wagon because your terrain is good for a G-Wagon. I might love a Land Cruiser because my terrain is good with a Land Cruiser. That's what political parties are all about. What's important is who is the vehicle carrying, and does the person have what it takes to lead us to our destination. So it's not about being sentimental, it's about protecting this generation and knowing that we have houses, we have cars. For me, I've learned to know how to be a bridge. I live with the poor, I live with the rich. I can sleep under the bridge today. I can be stranded on the road. I can sleep in a 5-star hotel. I have developed myself to that level. But what about you? If Nigeria goes to the point where we lose this nation, you're going to lose your properties, you're going to lose your peace. For us not to lose what we have, we must all come together and help us retain the heritage called Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I can see that the panel is becoming a little bit interesting. Thank you for adding color to it. And permit me to move on to Honorable Sandra. First of all, I think it's important to know that Honorable Sandra is the youngest person, and the first thing that will provide the position of ABAC Legislative Council as a council, which she deserves around the So my curiosity, Honorable Sandra, is that, in a political space where women are not truly involved, in a space where they are not given the opportunity to become, for instance, someone like you, to get elected at early stage and be the first one to do that. So my curiosity is, how, first of all, did you do it? And then how can we, the movement, in particular, the movement, engage more women and get them more into positions like yours, and perhaps maybe, one day a female from the Together movement becomes the first female to be elected as president in this country. How can we do that?
Thank you very much. How did I do it? I think that's the first question. Now, personally, the story of my life is very interesting. I started as a beauty queen, ventured into shoemaking. I'm a professional shoemaker. And I'm still a shoemaker. Now, I run an NGO called Capacity Life Foundation that has been functioning for the past 7 to 8 years. I was one of the greatest critics of politicians because I felt our leaders failed us. My late mom, who died 2020, was actually one of the people that woke me up from my sleep. She made a statement one day, 2 weeks before. She said, I want to be precise, I want to be a position in this case for a project, business related. And trust me, the response I got was, I wouldn't want to bring it out there, but it was heartbreaking. And I told my mom and I told her the outcome. And she said, you keep complaining about politicians doing this, not doing this, not doing that. If you think you can do better, why not give politics a try? You're passionate about giving out, you're talking about touching life, doing a whole lot. and in your own different perspectives, that is what you do about them. Even in the shoemaking industry, you found yourself. You've changed so many. But you're complaining about the leadership structure, the system. If you think you can do better, go back to your village, go back to your work, and try to contest as a councillor. Maybe from there, you can make a difference. That was how I started. And I asked around the zoning in a private place, we worked a lot with zoning. Yeah. So politically, it was zoned to my area, and I decided to give it a try. No political mother, no political father. I didn't know my left from right. I didn't know the political terms to use. But what helped me was first the passion. I knew who I was. I knew what I wanted, and I knew where I was going to. Currently in Nigeria, a lot of what we tend to be concerning women. Personally, I watched that video and I was bitter. I was seriously bitter because I felt women. Let me first of all draw your mind back to a single ideology. Give a woman a house, she gives you a home. We are in a political system where women are believed to be. We have nothing to offer. We are timid. We don't have voices. We cannot face violence. We cannot speak out in the needs of men. But I am proud with all humility of heart to announce, I am the youngest councillor in my government, but that is not stop me from being the leader among the so-called men. Leadership has nothing to do with age. Leadership has nothing to do with gender. I believe that there are lots of women out there that if given a fair chance, if given a good platform, trust me, we do. I'm sorry to men, please forgive me. We are not competing. No. But I believe that a lot of women have been pushed to the kitchen. To the kitchen, I mean, I don't mean the kitchen of like the house, but the society kitchen. They are behind. If you go around, deep down to grassroots politics, the men are nobody. Carrying of the bylaw policies to run. But if we are talking about the real election proper, women are than men. We invent because they feel we don't have a voice, we cannot withstand a whole lot of pressure. I am a girl. I don't think there is any man that can intimidate me. I say what I have to say. I want to use this opportunity to thank my governor, the governor of our private state, because I'm not being sentimental, I'm not being political. Sometimes, if you get to know more about me, you will know that I am not a sentimental person. I say the way it is. I am thanking him, and especially his wife, and Excellency. Because without them, people like us would not be where we are. We were given percentage in our personal place. The governor has supported women and has given us the 35% in politics. People more than the fact of me, eventually, when I went to my village, they said, this one has not run, I don't carry a ballot box. This one has not lost a seat. This one is a day. What does he know? Does he know I left from right? But they forget that leadership has nothing to do with violence. I don't have to carry a gun. I don't have to shed blood to show that I am capable of being a leader. One thing that the society has felt. But the good Lord gave us a leader that is gender friendly. a chance. And today, I am proving beyond reasonable doubt from my locality. In my local government, we have never had any bylaw for the past more than 20-something years. My local government never had a bylaw. But I am proud to say, as the first woman being a leader of the legislative, we have passed bylaws and we are working on more than 20-something bylaws as we speak for the good people of my locality. Why am I saying this? I am saying that if given a fair chance, if encouraged, not being biased, not being sentimental about how long you play politics, if you can actually see a leader, a leadership quality in a woman, my leadership quality started from my making business, from my entrepreneurship, from my passion for humanity, because leadership has to go with your heart. I cannot give you what I don't have. If I don't love my people, I cannot, if I don't have love, I cannot show love. If I don't have passion for my people, if I'm not worried about the poverty, if I'm not worried about the pains of my people, I cannot be a good leader. And women, women, we know we are mothers, we know we grow, we feel. So women are given the opportunity to be in positions of leadership. Trust me, I think we will do a lot more better than the system.
Thank you very much, and I'm really here on the part to be far better. I have lots of questions for you. You always say, I have lots of questions for you because I know you wear so many dresses or hat or cap. But I think for the benefit of this session, I'd like to always link the previous speaker's comments to the next question. And we've heard how the Reach Together movement started and how it's going. We've heard how, from Prince Edward, how we can make it sustainable. And we also heard from Honorable Sandra how we can also make it a bit more inclusive, including the women, making women part of the movement. Now, coming to you with the experience that you have, particularly working in the system, I know that you've been in the system for a while now. All this that we have, if we do not have a working system, we are not just speaking in tongues, And we have known or we have seen a number of times how all these great initiatives are buried by the system because of how, should I say, corrupt the system is. So where I want you to come in is, please, using your experience, how can we take in all this and ensure that when we get into the system does not consume all these brilliant ideas? How can we make the system work, for a better Nigeria? Thank you.
Many movements in my time of young people, people from different demographics trying to really make a difference in Nigeria. One difference I do see in this particular movement is, apart from the fact that you have young people coming together, trying to forge some sort of a new path for the generation to come. I see that this particular movement has what united it seems to have some sort of an idea. Most of the other movements that I feel, and maybe the reason why they've not been able to survive, is that many of the people that have been part of these movements come into this movement with self-interest. Many of the time, you join the movement because you want objective for your own personal ambition. So what is very important for this movement to be able to inculcate in corporate career to succeed and transcend the people that converge in this room presently is for people to be part of this movement because they really truly want to make a difference, not only for themselves, for this generation, but for the generations that will come after. You have to put self-interest aside and think of the collective and do something clear. And that has to start to go beyond just having a sort of nuanced conversation, which is what we're having in We Together. I'm very happy to hear that We Together has a long-term plan of 10 years, rather than having this sort of short-sighted vision, which is what most of the time happens when movements come to pass. It's only movements come together because there's an election around the corner. It's for 4 years, and everybody is looking for some sort of relevance, for a platform where they become relevant, and then they use that as bargaining chip for them to be part of the next administration. We Together is very important for us to have that long-term plan, not this short-sightedness. And I really do believe that the kind of character that I've already seen in We Together, I'm somewhat of a new member of this movement organisation. But from the few people that I have met, the kind of characters that I've seen and the kind of dedication that they've had to some of the other movements, just like yourself, we to, and the dedication to some of the other movements that they've been part of, I do believe that there are the characters available within this conclave, so to speak, that will be able to have some sort of a long-term plan and give an ideal to this movement, an ideal that other people that are looking for something, for some sort of a future for Nigeria. Because we have to understand that Nigeria currently is at a precipice. A precipice where there's not much for anyone to be to look forward to. It's the same old every 4 years, the same platform that we have, the same people looking for the same thing, no proper manifesto, nothing to really encourage people to think of what is going to develop this nation, to move the nation forward. So I feel that there is a space for an organization such as We Together. Once you are able to really reach out to many of the people in Nigeria looking for something to latch onto that has the kind of credibility that I hope We Together will have. And I feel that there will be a great impact in the next 1 year leading up to this general election. There will be an impact that will be felt with We Together. And I think that consistency, there has to be consistency. There has to be a lot of pressure, there has to be a lot of noise, and I'm sure there's a lot of us who can have the ability to make that kind of noise. But, from the rhetoric that I've heard from some of the other speakers that have come before, I think that there's hope that We Together will be able to provide the kind of future that Nigerian youth and even the elder generation that have not been part of having part of the Nigerian case, so to speak. I think We Together will provide light at the end of the tunnel in Nigeria.
Thank you very much, and that's very insightful, and thank you for the good contributions that you have made. We give the audience the opportunity to ask questions depending on the time that we have left. But before we get to that, I really want to give us one more time questions. Let's maybe I can go back to address and eventually the show of hands. My concern is that a lot of the times one of the major problems that we have in terms of development in Nigeria in different fields is lack of disunity. Using religion, ethnicity, and all these divides. And this is one of the concerns, because a lot of the times these have been the cases that those that are not interested in the development of the country use in dividing us and destroying us. So this is my question to you. How or what is the Whichever movement doing in terms of promoting unity, in terms of not being allowed to become a platform that can be used to promote all these divisions, religious divisions. So what can the movement do, and what perhaps maybe the movement is doing in that regard?
Thank you. The hope of our violence is also unity. We have seen how there is a consensus upwards. When I mean upwards, I mean in the leadership class, the ruling class. When it comes to that party, there's nothing like he's from the south, he's from the northeast, he's Hausa, he's Igbo. They all come together and enjoy themselves. So we have seen that they, in their attempt to divide us, they push that narrative of he's Christian, he's Muslim, Hausa, he's Igbo down, so they keep the reign of their division amongst us, which gives them the opportunity to divide and rule us. So in the core of our values is we pay attention to that issue of influence of narrative of disunity amongst us. You can see the landscape, this guy, even in this hall, if you do a census, you will see that we are almost evenly distributed across region, religion, tribe, ethnicity, whatever they use to divide us. So we are deliberate about bringing all of us together, because for Nigeria to exist and to continue to exist, we have to do away with all that disunity. We have seen that it has not taken us anywhere in the last 60, 65, 70 years. Every now and then there are crises in Kano, southeast, then targeting group houses so they can ignite a reprisal from other parts of the country. And it hasn't taken us anywhere. And then when it comes to elections, they come the way they even go about the campaign, you see that they don't acknowledge that narrative is really that they make us believe. So it's in our programs to bring people from all those tribes, religion, or beliefs together, so we can quash away that the narrative of unity that has dragged us down over this long period. So if we be together, we are deliberately concerned about that. We are working every day now and then to see that it's a thing of the past, and that it will only spell flourishing future for us or the generation is coming. Thank you.
Promising avoiding victim of internal crisis, why do people have
Thank you very much. Excellent question, and I'm very excited you asked that. I'll say this. Power is not given, it's taken, we know. And in the political process, we know that I always tell people that there's no need to die for political parties that you don't find young people in the BOT. So we don't own those political parties, but we are there because we believe that we need to take advantage of those political parties to be able to feed the aspirations, which is aspiration of young people. You know, when you have 75% of population of society and you're not leading that society, and then you're having someone who's a minority in terms of population leading you, how do you expect them to give young people jobs, create sense of belonging, you know, empower your skills and all of that? I mean, the APC, because I believe that the APC is a no man's party. You know, I just joined the APC less than a year, but I've been very involved in the APC. So, you know, the PDP is kind of a traditional party for me. I've been there. And when you're in the PDP, you know, even if you are very active in the political process, 10 years after, you know, they will still refer you to the old man. Anything that has to do with your local government, your region, in the owners of the party who have been there before now. But when you join the APC, they're looking at your capacity and your value. It doesn't really matter how long you came on board. It's, do you know how to find your way within the party? And as young people, we know how to find our way within political processes. For me, let the big men fight themselves. But as they are busy fighting themselves, we'll get what we want. You cannot be out of energy and then you want to give light. You need energy to produce light. I'm in the APC because I've done opposition before. They have the powers and it's easy for me to give light to my generation. So I'm there. I've socketed into the APC because I believe we can change the narrative. Very important. I really support young people having their own political platforms where we can take ownership of supporting ourselves. But we need to first of all use true organizations and associations like We Together to be able to know that we have that level of trust for ourselves. There's too much of sentiment and young people who are not intentional. You know, we are not intentional because we are not consistent, we are not daring. You know, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. But as you're taking a step, you must focus on the journey that you see ahead of you. So when you have organizations like this that brought young people together for a particular period of years, and then we can begin to say, oh, it's time for young people to have political parties where there's no sentiment, where there's no division, where interest is strong and nobody can easily come and buy you for the collective interest of others. But for now, we'll continue to fight inside the system. You know, they say change begins from the inside. You know, so until the inside is changed, you cannot have an outward. Let's have one governor. You have 36 states and capital. Let's see that those 36 states are nations in Nigeria. If you can have one state that has the kind of governor that we believe that can give us a blueprint, a track record of excellence, and we know that, okay, what happens to if oil touches one finger, you're sure that all fingers in your palm, oil will touch them. So, but let's begin to ensure that we get oil on one. You know, we want something big. Let's start somewhere. No matter where we are starting from, let's look for the kind of youth. And I want to use this opportunity, please, to say that in as much as I'm advocating, and I like strong advocacy groups that advocate for young people or young inclusion in politics and governance, I'm always very sure to say what kind of youth. The people who have destroyed this nation today have also developed their kind of be worse than them. So let us learn to evaluate the kind of young people, their track record before supporting them, before you support another devil again. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. One of the things shaking is one of the things that you want to agree. Perhaps maybe you don't have to do
No. He's my brother.
okay.
And let me say, my mom is from Cross River. I am majority of my life, I'm going to be Cross River. I'm about to be said. So he's my brother. But there's something he said that I would say I don't totally agree with. I can still remember him years back. He was a strong PDP member. He became an APC member barely a year ago. And now he said something about PDP being. Anyway, we're not here to discuss parties. But I just want to say that I think the major issue we have is the system. It has nothing to do with the party. But we still have the same people.
Thank you very much. I can go to sometimes it's been used to promote some of the negative. So I am particularly interested in curious how can we leverage the media which contribution to society. How can we bring the celebration of prepare some of these various
But unfortunately, it is quite a fact of knowledge that the Nigerian media is not very credible. That is also by the problem that the political state has. Basically, the media is close to the highest bidder, and unfortunately, it was politicians advantage. But I get the benefits that we have now within this atmosphere is the fact that there's the emergence, the new media, where you don't necessarily have to use the traditional media houses. People are able to diversify information even from the comfort of their homes. So it is very important. The media is very important. But the fact that we have new media now, the fact that the media in Nigeria is not very credible shouldn't be a deterrent at all. We Nigeria leverage the fact that we're able to disseminate information directly through all the different media platforms that one has. But like I thought, tournaments, there are people that do have ideas and it's very important. You refer to me as journalist, I'm actually a journalist, but I realize that one time ago, how to be able to articulate stuff and to be able to spread ideas. So, maybe in Nigeria, within that new media space to disseminate the information that we want to get out there. And at the same time, let's encourage people to write as much as you can. Because once you're able to write, articulate your thoughts in that form, there comes a certain level of respect. That's very important. And also, there are other little minor media how good we afford, then maybe we're able to reach out to let's engage with many people possible but that new media, social media,
My name is I know that sometime in this country, the bill was passed for not too young to run. I also understand that just recently,
do a comeback and get buried. So I want to say we are very ready to take part in rebuilding Nigeria. It's our country. But are we going to is together? I'm sorry, let me point into the bigger space. We're trying to keep calm and get to the top and go to Abuja, buy a big house, get a big car, travel abroad, and that's all. Thank you.
The special